guys, welcome to Ocean Chicks Films. I'm your host, Karen, and tonight we've got a brand new segment on the show called 2-for-1 Movie Reviews. So what that means is I'm going to do 2 movies in one review because I thought that would be a lot of fun. Tonight's especially special because it's also a viewer request. So each of these movies was requested by a viewer. Now, if you have any movies that you would like me to review, you know, they have to be kind of horror. Supernatural horror would be cool, but it doesn't have to be. But if you have some that you want me to talk about, comment them down below and I will definitely give you a shout out if I choose to review them. So a huge shout out to viewer Kevin Dobson for suggesting that I review these movies because they go well together and I think it was a really good choice. Now, Kevin suggested that I review The Ninth Gate from 1999 and The Devil's Advocate from 1997, both horrors and both with a supernatural twist. Perfect. The Ninth Gate from 1999 has Johnny Depp and Lena Olin. The Devil's Advocate from 1997 has Keanu Reeves, Al Pacino, and Charlize Theron. Super star-studded cast for both of these films. Very classic late 90s. Now, in case you have not seen these films before or you need a refresher, let's have a little look at what they're about. The Ninth Gate is a 1999 neo-noir horror thriller, directed and co-written by Roman Polanski. A collector recently acquired a 17th-century legendary book called The Ninth Gate, written by Satan himself. Dean Corso is hired to authenticate the book because there are fake copies floating around. Corso finds himself in a battle for the truth while being stalked by others who also want the book, starring Johnny Depp, Frank Langella, and Lena Olin. The Devil's Advocate is a 1997 supernatural horror directed by Taylor Hackford. Kevin Lomax, a gifted young Florida lawyer, is invited to a major New York City law firm where Big Boss John Milton, played by Al Pacino, gives him and his wife the life of their dreams, but that deal has a heavy price to pay. Starring Keanu Reeves, Al Pacino, and Charlize Theron. Both of these films are based on books, and I'm going to say something a little controversial right now, because I gotta be me. I'm not a huge fan of Johnny Depp. I said it. I really am not. But on the other hand, I'll let you in on a little secret. I have a huge crush, always have and always will, on Keanu Reeves. There you go. All right, moving forward. So as far as the box office goes, apparently The Devil's Advocate far exceeded The Ninth Gate. You know, there could have been a bunch of factors that played into that. I think largely probably because of Al Pacino. So dynamic, so amazing in that role, and he was really, really, really popular at that time. I mean, he always is, he always will be, but he was really at his heyday around that time, I think, and it was just such a good role for him. In my opinion, I think both films were really well done. They're very entertaining. They were really very classic late 90s. Really enjoyable to watch, and I think they're those kinds of films that you buy on tape and you rewatch over and over, and they're kind of timeless. And I highly recommend that you check them out if you haven't already. Incredible star-studded cast for both films, and like amazing acting for all of it. I think you know, little bits of flaws here and there that maybe weren't that great, and you can see why things suffered a little, but I mean, Al Pacino, like I said, he just knocks it out of the park. He's like the perfect Satan, right? Come on. And even Johnny Depp at that time, like a lot of his personality and the way that you see him in film was brought out in that one too. So I think everybody did a really, really excellent job. And I think what makes them so rewatchable is that you get lost in the characters and the storyline, and they're long movies. They're well over 2 hours each movie, but that was common back then. And you're just captivated the whole way through because of the story. And I'm sure that if you had watched back then and then did a rewatch now, there'd be a lot of stuff that you'd forgotten about, because I recently rewatched them again, and I'd forgotten a lot of the story. Even The Devil's Advocate, which I'd probably seen 100 times back in the day, I'd forgotten how good it was. was and how much there was to it. There's lots of little bits and pieces and things that you can see within the movie that kind of make it unique and come together. So yeah, they're definitely rewatchable. The Ninth Gate has that sort of detective investigator, travel to other countries kind of feel to it. And I love those kinds of movies because you can really get captivated. So kind of a thriller, a horror thriller, as opposed to like a slasher or something like that. But I like that kind of thing because you think, right? Makes you think, and it makes you kind of notice things every single time that you watch it. And I really like that in a movie. Both of the leads were very well cast in the film. Keanu plays the perfect, naive, young, eager lawyer, and Johnny plays the perfect kind of sleazy, scumbag collector, that is just all in it for the money. And they both are in these films. The films very much revolve around that premise, which was common back then. I think that greed is good type of deal. So they're very, very good, as are the women. The women are just incredible. I mean, Charlize Theron is just like the most gorgeous, beautiful, intelligent, amazing actor I think I've ever seen, and she's really good in this. I love seeing Lena Olin too. She's really incredible. Yeah, so very, very incredible leads in these films. In a nutshell, both films are basically about money, making a deal with the devil, and the bad consequences that follow. You're set up with not knowing really what anybody's motives are, even though you think you might know, and so you're kept guessing right through to the end. And there's always a twist at the end. And I'm not going to get into too much detail about the plots because I don't want to have any spoilers in this film. I'd rather you guys go watch it if you haven't already. And if you have seen it, we can talk about it in the comments below for sure. But I'm not going to go into too great of detail about what happens. In The Devil's Advocate, there are lots of references to Milton and Dante, like Paradise Lost, Inferno. I loved those writings. They are something I studied quite a bit in English Lit in university, as well as art, but it was something that really interested me, and there's lots of that in there. I'm sure if I watched this movie again, I could probably pull out more things that are kind of hidden in the background, but very, very interesting for that reason. An example of that is Al Pacino's character is named John Milton, so there's kind of reference to that. So for The Devil's Advocate, Andrew Niederman wrote the book, The Devil's Advocate, and Joel Schumacher was going to create a screenplay that starred Brad Pitt as the young lawyer. Can you imagine that? I'm not sure if that would have worked, but at the same time, I'm really intrigued and wondering if it would have gone in a different direction and been really incredible as well. I don't know, what do you guys think? I love Brad Pitt, and I'm a big fan of his too, just so you know. I think that, yeah, it could have been different, really cool. But Keanu was the right choice in here, I think. And Keanu, apparently I read that he passed up Speed 2 to do this one instead. And so that's why that happened. I was always wondering about that, why he didn't do Speed 2, because it would have been so much better. I really loved him in the first one as well. He was so good in that. But anyways, that's what happened. But then I guess Jason Patric got that part, so then that worked out really well too. I like Jason Patric too. And a little trivia, Jason Patric's dad played Father Karras in The Exorcist and The Exorcist 3. How could I not know that? How did I go through so many years and not know that and just discover that recently when I did my review of The Exorcist? So crazy. Such a small world. In The Devil's Advocate, the special effects where the faces are kind of morphing, that kind of thing, they used life masks, and they had, Keanu Reeves and Al Pacino's faces morphing together. And they also did some of the actors with like devil makeup on and kind of morphed those together in the end scene. So those are kind of cool. Kind of a cheesy effect, but at the same time kind of neat. And I like when you see things like that because it brings you back to that time period when they did things like that, right? It puts you back there in the 90s. So I think that was pretty cool. So in The Ninth Gate, that book was fictitious, of course, and it's kind of a neat idea, and it's put together really well. I love the mystery and the investigative kind of thing going on throughout. It goes a little bit into fantasy and strange scenery and that kind of thing, and it gets a little hokey here and there, especially at the end. But I think it's kind of justifiable at that time period. things were kind of like that. So overall, a pretty good movie. So for my reviews, I'm going to give The Devil's Advocate 3.5 shark bites out of 5. And I'm going to give The Ninth Gate 2.5 shark bites out of 5. Didn't like that one as much, but they're both very good films. They're both rewatchable. They're both worth purchasing on DVD or Blu-ray if they're out on Blu-ray, I think. And yeah, give them a watch. Classic 90s films, late 90s films, you know, great cast, and yeah, fun. So I want to hear what you think about these two films. You comment your thoughts below, and you let me know what movies you want me to review next, and maybe we can do another one of these episodes. I'm definitely going to do the 2-for-1 movie review, and but I can definitely do viewer requests as well. Just keep it horror, and if you can at all, keep it supernatural or demonic horror, but if it's something other than that, that's okay too. Just let me know below, and if I choose you, I will definitely shout you out. All right, guys, I think that's a wrap. Really cool talking to you again. I missed you guys. And if you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up because it helps me out a lot. And subscribe to the channel for more movie reviews like this one, more deep dive reviews, interviews, and I'm going to be firing up a live stream show again, so stay tuned for that. I just want to say I love you guys so much. Thanks for stopping by, and I love chatting with you, so please comment below. I miss chatting with you. We will see you again very soon. Bye, guys.